What's going on, everybody? It's Captain Jake here with Not4Play Fishing Charters, and we're sitting here on our brand new 36-foot Cape Horn. This boat here is powered by 400 V10 Mercs, and something really cool we added onto this boat that we're going to dive a little bit deeper into today is the Humphree Lightning system. So the Humphree Lightning system is a newer product to the market. However, they've been around for over 25 years now, doing work with the government and doing work over in Europe. And what the Humphree Lightning system is electronically actuated trim tabs. And normally, if the boat is leaning to one side, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and click down towards the other side to kind of level the boat out. Now, one of the problems with that is that if you're in a rough sea, the boat's going to constantly go back and forth, especially if you're taking them on the side. So there's no way to really compensate for the movement of the waves going like this non-stop. Now, another thing with the trim tabs is when it gets rough, either you have to go down or fully up, right? You have some room in the middle between the two, but there's no action being taken every single time you come up off a wave or down on a wave. It's just one position at all times, unless you're adjusting it yourself, which can get pretty tiring over time. Now, with that being said, Humphree just recently came out with a new system called the Lightning system. This boat here in particular is rigged up with the Humphree Lightning L300s, and we have two of those just underneath the boat, exactly where the old trim tabs were on this boat. So, what does the system do? Now, Humphree has a couple of different options for packages for you. So these different packages that Humphree has allow you to kind of add on and take away things. And the really cool part about Humphree is that they'll actually let you try out these packages to see what's really going to work best for you. So some of the packages that they have available, number one is the Comfort package, and that's going to include the auto trim, the pitch control, and the auto list. Number two is the Comfort Plus package. That there is going to include the auto trim, the pitch control, the auto list, and the C-turn. Then we also have the Dynamic package. This is what we have on this boat, the Dynamic package. That's going to include the auto trim, the pitch control, the auto list, as well as roll stabilization. And then lastly, you have the Dynamic Plus package, which is going to include every single one of those functions that we just talked about. That's the auto trim, the pitch control, the auto list, the C-turn, and the roll stabilization. And then lastly, each Humphree unit comes with underwater lights, which you can activate for an additional price. We opted at the moment to not activate them. However, after seeing them in action, I'm really considering adding those. So what we're going to do is we're going to go out there, we're going to get the drone up maybe, going to shoot some video here and kind of show you how the system works in action, and then kind of how the boat acts without the tabs on as well as with the tabs on. So without further ado, let's go take a ride. Now, another thing I wanted to show you real quickly was the actual user interface itself. So we were able to just pull out the old Lenco trim tab unit and plop this basically right over it with a little extra cutting involved. So this here is the Humphree UI, which is pretty cool. So you'll see on the left hand side is your list, on the right hand side is your list there. That's for each tab individually, and as you're kind of driving, you'll see a little blue line coming down, and that's showing you what each tab is doing. Now that'll also show you the percentage as well as your speed. And then here we have our trim, how many degrees it's trimming, how many degrees we're listing. And then if we swipe anywhere on this, up or down, it'll automatically start to trim for us. Now we can also go into the menu here on this just by holding down on the screen. And in the menu here, you could see pretty easy UI. We have just our brightness to either lower or raise. and then we can easily just turn on the auto trim, the auto pitch control, and the auto list just by tapping our fingers here. Now also, you'll see here down at the bottom, we have our coordinated turn. This one here is showing locked just because we did not opt to have that. And same thing with the underwater lights. These are RGBs, so they will go any color. And again, we have those locked, so we're not able to turn them on at the moment. So it's a really cool interface, and one of the other cool things with this is Humphree actually integrates with our Simrad screens. So everything that I do down here on this screen, I can also go ahead and do up on the Simrad screen. Now, another thing I wanted to talk to you about is the price of these systems here. So Humphree doesn't really have too much going on for pricing on their website. It's a little bit difficult to find. I will tell you personally that this system here, in comparison to other systems such as the Seakeeper Ride, the Zip Wake system, and I believe there's even a couple other companies that are coming out with some electronically actuated trim tabs, this one here seems to be the most cost effective for us. So you know, it's about half the price of the Seakeeper Ride system. And to be honest with you, from what I've learned so far about this system is the Seakeeper Ride system only goes down about 1 inch of movement. These tabs here, they're going straight down like this rather than like this, and they have about 2 inches of throw with their plates that are going down in the water. So in some really rough water, my understanding is that the Seakeeper Ride tabs will only be able to do so much for you on that 1 inch, but with the Humphree tabs, they're going down 2 inches, so in rougher water, you'll have a much more comfortable ride than the Seakeeper Ride system. Alright guys, in this part of the video here, I do want to apologize as I had some spray come over the bow as we were coming through the inlet, but it'll clear up in a couple of seconds here. And one of the things I want you to really pay attention to, you know, as we start to come out here and get up on plane, is going to be the bow of the boat. And you're going to notice that, you know, kind of as we start to get up on plane, there's not much bow rise at all, and this boat has a great hole shot. It should come clear here in just a couple of seconds, and we're going to go out of the inlet with the Humphree tabs on. So that's going to include all of the features that we currently pay for. They're all going to be working together simultaneously to keep this boat as stable as possible. Now you'll see here this particular day, it's a little bit clearer now that you can see. You know, we have about a 1 to 2 with an occasional 3-foot swell, and as we get up on plane here, like I said before, you'll see there's not much bow rise at all. Coming through the breakers here, you'll see that the bow really just kind of stays glued to the water. You know, we're coming up over the waves and then immediately back down underneath them again. So there's not much jump here in the boat. You know, it's really just staying nice and tight to the water, and we're not really hitting that hard either. That's one of the beautiful things about Cape Horns is right off the bat, they don't really hit too hard. But, you know, this is really important for us, especially as a charter boat. For our customers, we want to keep everybody as comfortable as possible, and something like this Humphree system is really going to help to do that. And this Humphree system is really going to keep the seasickness to a minimum here and keep all of our customers as comfortable as possible. Alright guys, now I'm going to do the same exact thing that we just did running out of the inlet, but this time we have the Humphree system entirely off. So there's no trim tab help at all in this part of the video. And again, you know, we're in the same exact conditions here, and I want you to pay attention now as I get up on plane here. We have some more bow rise, but we're also going to be a lot more jumpy. So you can see we're already up on plane doing about 35 miles an hour, and really pay attention here on the breakers. You know, you'll see we start to really jump a lot more. The bow's coming up out of the water. It's staying out of the water for a longer period of time because we have absolutely no help from the trim tabs, so they're not doing any work here. And again, you know, as a charter boat, this here makes the ride a lot less enjoyable, especially when you're running a lot of hours. You know, it's just not comfortable for anybody. So the Humphree tabs, they really help you out in terms of comfort, you know, and just in terms of maintaining your boat. You're not slamming as much, you know, you're not jumping over waves, so you're not going to have to tighten things up as often, which, again, with the Cape Horn, you really don't have to do, but with other models, you might have to. Alrighty guys, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take these waves right on our side here to kind of show you, you know, how the roll control as well as the auto list work. So I'm going to go ahead and get us up to speed here, and I'm going to turn the camera around so this way you can start to see it. And you'll see it's trying to keep the boat completely level at all times, And again, watch as we get on plane here. There's not much bow rise at all. And then you'll see it just sucks right down. And we're doing about 25 right now. And the boat just wants to stay down. We're up to about 30. And you'll see that, you know, we're staying nice and level, especially as we're taking these waves right on our starboard side. So there's not much going on in the department of roll and list. And you'll see here on the screen, as we're going now over the waves directly, these blue lines are coming down indicating what those tabs are doing for us. So again, as I kind of come up front here, we're doing about 30 miles an hour again, and it's really trying to suck this boat down and keep us nice and tight to those waves, especially as we come up over them. And you'll see we just sit right back down on that wave. And the really nice thing, which Cape Horns already, you know, they don't really slam too much, but this really helps to suck it down to make sure that we don't slam at all. You can just see we're just riding right over these waves. Now if I turn the tabs off, so I'll come down to this screen here, and I'm just going to hold down on the menu, and we'll turn off the auto trim, and we're going to turn off the pitch and the auto list. And if I go back to the home, you'll see now that we're going to lift up and drop down a bit more, as the tabs are just up now in one position rather than trying to activate and control us. So if I turn the boat now, and we go and take these waves directly on our starboard side once again, and we speed back up to about the same that we were doing before, about 35. You'll see now that we're kind of starting to jump a little bit more, and we'll even start to kind of roll a little bit with these waves as we take them. And you'll see the boat's just really a lot more jumpy, especially coming up over these waves here. So this is really what this system is all about. You know, it's taking all of the user input out of the way and just letting a computer control everything so you get the most comfortable ride. Alrighty guys, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and open this thing up and kind of show you what it can do at speed. So again, you know, I'll keep saying it, it's definitely have a nice swell out here and a little bit of chop on top. Obviously videos never really do anything justice. You'll just have to take my word for it. But we're going to really kick this thing up and see what she can do, kind of how these things will act for us. So we're doing 40 right now. We could kick it up even a little bit more, and we're still very comfortable. Up to about 45 right now. And we're just taking these right now on kind of the port side, maybe a little bit forward of the port side. And the boat is just loving every second of this. If I speed it up even a little bit more and give it some more throttle, we're doing right around 50 miles an hour right now. And you can see we're running extremely comfortable. The boat is straight. We're not jumping out of the water too much. We're running nice and steady, and the boat's sticking tight to the water, keeping us more boat in the water here. You can see we're really, really comfortable running at 49 miles an hour right now. Alrighty guys, so I hope, you know, that kind of helped you out a little bit to really see how this system works. I know there's been a lot of talk about this system lately, especially in a lot of the Facebook groups. Guys are talking whether they should get the Seakeeper Ride or the Humphree Lightning or the Zip Wake system, or even some of the other brands that are out there doing very similar things. So this one here seemed to really work for us. The price was extremely affordable based on what we paid with the Humphree team, and we want to give a big shout out to them for really helping us out. This is the first 36 Cape Horn with this system on it, We got it here from Seaport Inlet Marina in Belmar, New Jersey. The boat itself we got from Seaport, as well as all the electronics installed and those tabs themselves, the Humphree Ride tabs. We had them install the tabs as well, and you know, we're extremely happy with them. I actually told the owner, you know, he shouldn't buy any more boats with trim tabs and just install these, because they make that much of a difference. And I've really noticed it running this boat now for almost 40 hours. So guys, feel free to check us out, Not For Play Fishing Charters, out of Shinnecock, New York on Long Island. Check out our friends over here at Seaport Inlet Marina in Belmar, New Jersey. They do all kinds of stuff, boat sales, new boat sales with Cape Horn and North Coast boats, used boat sales. They have a ton of boats up online for you to take a look at. Also, they do all kinds of installs, repowers. They have dockage space available as well. So if you're local in the Belmar, New Jersey area, check them out. They're the closest marina to the ocean. It's less than a mile ride and you're right out into the ocean. So thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully this helped you out, and we'll see you on the next one.